Hello everybody. In this video we will see how to define the implicit object page context. We don't need to create it by ourselves, instead it will be created by the container. And how we should define it? First of all, I would like to tell you there are 4 scopes for this entity: page level, request level, session level, application level. For example, if I am defining this page context as page level in JSP logging.jsp and I cannot access this value in another page. For example, if I have defined in page object as a page level in login.jsp, I can't access this object in another page, that is register.jsp. However, if I am defining at request level for the same request, this object will be accessible. For another request, it won't be accessible. Session level, if the session is same, you can access it anywhere in the application. If it is application level, boy, this is global and you can access it anywhere in the application at any time. So most less restricted application level, less restricted access is application level, most restricted is page level. Okay, how to define this? So the syntax is bit difficult to understand, but I'll tell you bit by bit, so it will be much easy. Okay, so page context, this is the implicit object. I've never defined page context equal to new page context anywhere. I'm just accessing it. The name implies implicit. It is ready made available by the container. So page context dot set attribute. This is the key page demo. This is the value, page value. And how I will be defining the access scope. Page context dot page scope. It means it will be accessible within the same JSP. If name here is page context of JSP. Let's get started with session level. Page context dot set attribute, session demo, session value, page context, session scope. So this is the key, this is the value, and this is the scope. Page context dot session scope. This is the static variable. Page context set attribute, application demo. This is key. Application value. This is value. And page context dot application scope, this is, you can say it as the scope level. And another scope level, as I told you earlier, page context dot request scope. This is limited to one request. If another request comes up and you're trying to access request demo key, then you won't get this value because it is limited to only one request. This one is limited to application level. You can access it from anywhere, anytime, and this is session scope. This is limited to one session. How we can access this? Page context get attribute page demo. This page demo, and this is the scope you can define. A request example is page context get attribute request demo page context dot request scope. For session demo, we'll just move around to the another page and we'll try to access the value. So we'll go over there and we'll just try to access. So page demo will be null, session will be there, application will be there, and request, I think it will be null. So let's get started. Page context set attribute, page key, value will be page value, and the static variable. How I define page context dot page scope. Same thing, copy paste. I'm copying it and pasting it just for the sake of that you keep in mind that this won't change. So next thing is request level. This is is request value, and this is request scope. Next thing is session scope, and session key. For application thing, how you should define it: page context, set attribute, key and value, and the scope. This is application scope. As you know, to access these values, I need to use these keys. So for this, let's get started. Create another. Out.println. ln to print on next line. First will be page, pageContext.get attribute, and my value is page key. Key is page key, and it will print page value. Next we need to print request value. For this, pageContext dot get attribute. Attribute will be key. Also key is what? Request key. If the request is different, it will be null. Don't get panicked. Session scope. Copy this. You don't need to bother. Session key. To avoid the confusion, just copy and paste these keys, because it will be right perfect and you won't need to switch around the pages to see it again and again, and no typos. And here it is, the add key. We'll see how many values are over there or not. Okay. This is my server. Okay, page is null, request is null, session is null, application value is null. Let's see what went wrong. Can we take this from this page? To another page. create another page. JSP, name it as demo context. Let's see what happens. I'll just hit on demo context.jsp. Okay, we'll see. Okay guys, I figured it out what went wrong. See, we have defined it is in the scope, and I don't know, it is somewhat stupid, but we need to define the scopes also. So earlier it was like this. Now I've defined the scope also, page context dot request scope, page context dot session scope, and over here also it should be page context is the class name, that's why I'm using class name dot application scope. These are the static variables. So first you need to run this new file.jsp to set these values. Over here same thing, page context dot page scope, and this should be not the object, this should be class name. Run over here. See, page values now, mostly page values too much restricted. It's better to go for application level and session level variables. Application value and session value, not any foul comes in picture. Thank you guys.